And get a good angle if you want to look up front. Johnny is going to talk about speed cutting. And he tells me that if he tried to cut this 24-minute brilliant, he has to cut and not talk.
Right.
So he wants to tell you things about speed cutting, so we're not going to hold it in 24 minutes. But I think you're going to find this pretty entertaining.
26 minutes? Since I got to talk. I talk too much. 28. All of them line up very well. Now, if I take a 10 loop to it and check it, they're still going to line up very well. And again, that's one of the natures of this and the precision of the depth of cut. But your machines are going to be able to get it there as well. It may take you a little bit more time to sit and monitor and look at those fast. Now, let's say if you wanted to get even more precision and you wanted to slow it down a little bit. Also, let y'all know this is a modified EZA because I've indexed on 23 both times. As long as you're consistent, though, who cares? And we're done. So you can see it doesn't take a lot of time. And you can easily do it. Now, this is the easy part because you're cutting to the girdle. You're establishing a point anyway. So you tell me, okay, that's fine. Now we're going to move to the next one where you actually have to get that meat to hit. And before that, I'm going to index properly, if y'all don't mind. All right, now we all know that first one is critical. Now another thing you're going to also notice, I just changed my angle and changed my height. I've still got it at 100%. Okay, normally what you would do at this point is of course turn the machine off, bring it down until it slowly touches and get it just right and then turn it back on. That takes time, so why? If you raise it up enough, and again, all you need to do is bring it down till it touches so you know you've already made contact. Camera died. Oh. And then you just dial it in until it meets. Okay. Can you see that? Or zoom in. And now we're just going to index around. This is CZ. Now we'll have an impartial inspection. Get some free spin if you like to look at it.
That's a set of main facets to me.
Now again, if you take a 10 power loop and get down to it, is it going to be perfect? No. But you can still be able to sell it better than any commercially cut stone. Now next, like I said, all I would go to is a lap with a 50,000 or 100,000 polish on it now. And even on these large facets, even with CZ, probably take me about 10 seconds a facet. To polish them, probably 10 sweeps and that'd be it. And again, you have to make sure that everything's charged properly, everything's moving right. You also have to make sure that the conditions are where they should be. But ultimately, the number one is the confidence in your machine and your product. So, and if you have any questions, you need to seek out maybe somebody that has been using that particular machine for a long time. For like a facet in particular, you could call the factory, speak to Tyler Miller. For any of the others, you could call the manufacturers and see if you can get any support from them. Then I would recommend go to your local club shows. or just your clubs meetings. It was emphasized a little bit earlier that that's very important, is to be a member of the club. One thing that you find, a lot of the clubs don't have a large faceting side. It's more of a lapidary, but when you get into that, you can bring it more in. Everybody has an idle curiosity about it. They want to learn about it more. And what bothers me is when somebody goes up and says, well, how do I cut this? You know, how do you do that? And they find out, well, it's taken me 100 hours to cut this stone. I'm walking away. I mean, yeah, I'm telling you right now, okay, see you later, thank you. But what they don't explain at that point is that that's pretty much a competition quality stone. Are you going to see a competition quality stone in a jewelry store? Somehow I doubt you'll see many. What I like to do is whenever we go to shows, or whenever I went to shows, I like to demonstrate and have children come up. Because nothing blows the mind of a faceter to see a 5-year-old little boy or girl up here sitting here knocking out a stone, and in about 4 or 5 hours they got a stone done. So, and you know, and you have somebody like the majority that's, you know, takes anywhere on average 10 to 20 hours a stone. They come up and say, that's pretty good. You know, you cut that for them? Said, no, you know, they've been here a couple hours. It's hard to imagine or believe. But the reason that they are the best candidates is because they trust completely. They don't sit here and think, well, you know, that needle can't be accurate. I know that the lap is wobbling. It's got, you know, 2 thousandths run out. I got to make sure this meat hits perfectly. You tell them, cut to this point, go to the next, cut to this point, go to the next, and they'll do it. And that's the simplicity of this. And I tell everybody, it's actually almost as easy to facet than it is to color by numbers. You know, everything's done. Somebody's already done all the math. You know, luckily we have individuals that do that. They give you all the numbers, they give you all the formulas. All you got to do is unfortunately spend the money and get all the equipment and do it. Or if somebody has an interest, send them to a club. And hopefully somebody will go in there and not run into the worst curmudgeon that there is, because there's always one at every club. And, you know, instill that curiosity into somebody new to the industry. I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, you know what, I've cabbed for 20 years, but, you know, I'm not old enough to facet yet. So what are you talking about, not old enough to facet? Oh, that's much harder. I got to tell you, I've never cabbed. And you know, it blows my mind to sit there and think how you can hold a steady. I mean, I don't think I could do it. One, I don't have the patience. But it's something that everybody can do, and that you can do faster than what you are. But you have to let that go. You have to let that perfection sense go and say, well, you know, no, 1, 2 more. And, you know, don't take your 10-power loop out every single time. You know, trust yourself, trust your machine, trust your equipment, and go with it. You have to also make sure all of your material is well maintained. Make sure your laps are always clean. Make sure they're put up, especially running at 100%. I've had a lot of people complain when they sit in a machine behind me because it's normally white. And it's the price that you pay. But you have to remember, when you do that, what's the ultimate price? Contamination, deterioration. So you have to make sure that in your speed to cut this stone, if I'm doing a speed cutting, I'll have my 600 sitting here, my cerium sitting here. You're asking for it. You know, you're really asking for it, and it sprays everywhere. So just be mindful of it. Be confident with your equipment. And as you've just witnessed, it doesn't take long, I mean, to knock out a pavilion. And truly, if I had 100 on here and had just a piece of rough, you know how long it takes to rough it out, and then just to sit there and cut them down. So I encourage everybody, when you try, just try with that mentality. I want to go as fast as I can. See what you're going to get. And I think you'll be reasonably impressed. I've even gotten Tyler down where he can cut a stone start to finish in a day. Even using JB Weld. So, and now I'll also comment that his favorite comment is that I know fast, but he knows good. So, and there is quite a bit to that as well.